everyone! Magandang Biyernes sa inyong lahat. Ayan, Friday na ulit. Ang bilis ng araw, no? Parang Friday lang last week, ngayon Friday na naman ulit. But anyway, I hope that you're all looking forward to the weekend. I hope that you had a productive week. What do you call this? I'll see you again later at 8 o'clock. Just so that you know, I'll see you again later at 8 o'clock. Our Friday meetup is going to be on Zoom. I thought I'd do it on Zoom because there are stuff that I want to show you. Okay, I'm quite happy with something that I'm going to share. So I hope that I'll see you there later. Okay, so our task for today, a VA task, is called filing. Alright, so when I was what do you call this, before I worked, before I even got to the world of working, I really did not care much about filing. Okay, so I just know that I was in college kasi I was a musician. I just know that I need a clear book for all my pieces, ganyan. I did not really have a system. But if you're going to be a virtual assistant, most often than not, I take that back. Your client could be organized, but your client can also be someone who does not care where the things are. Yung hindi sila masyadong OC. Either way, if your client is super organized or has no sense of organization, they will rely on you to keep things in tip-top shape. So, the reason for that is because, maririndi kayo sa akin, but the reason for this is because your role is to save your client time. So, when it's time to look for a file, if you know where to find it, you'd find it in minutes. But if you're not organized, it can take you hours to find a file. This has happened to me several times before. So, and that's because my client really wants to use a specific application for filing, while the rest of the world, in his business, is using a different filing system. So I have to do things 2 times. Okay, so I have to duplicate it. So it's crazy. And of course, the folders that he sees are different to the folders that I see in this world. So it's advisable to have just one system. So we finally shifted this year to just use one system, the one that the majority of people in the company are using. So it's so easy for me now. It's like I can breathe because I don't have to do things twice. So my advice, if you're doing filing, is usually files come from emails. Okay, usually comes from emails, unless you're a virtual assistant, unless it's sent to you via an online drive. Okay, so sometimes files come as attachments in emails. Okay, and then so you deal with them when you're opening the email. Another way that you receive files is through cloud-based applications like Google Drive, iCloud, OneDrive for Office. Sometimes they could come through wire transfer or Dropbox. So those are the most common spaces used for sending files. Now, regardless of where they're coming from, what's important is that you know where to put them when you receive them. Okay? So, one word that I'm going to leave with you is hierarchy. Okay? When you are sorting files, when you're trying to save files in folders, it's useful to have a hierarchy rather than to create a folder for each and every type of file that you receive. Okay? Hi Dale! It's nice to see you again! Hello! I was wondering the past week, where are our male viewers? In a Bobo, I don't see them anymore. I was thinking about you, Dea, also. So it's good to see you here. If there are others in this live, sorry if I haven't greeted you because the comment feed is really delayed. Okay? So bear with me. Just comment if you can comment so I can say hi to you and acknowledge you. Ayun. So, hierarchy. Because the longer that you get used to, viewing the files that come your way, then you can't help but see a pattern emerging. Like, oh, okay, so these things, they belong together. So maybe at first you'll have so many folders, okay, but then you'll realize, okay, so this thing is related to this is related to this is related to this. Then eventually you will realize, okay, these things can be in just one folder, and in that one folder I can create 3 different folders. Okay, all right, and if you want, in each of those 3 folders meron ka pa ulit subfolder, so you can have as many subfolders as you want. Ako, I just avoid having too many naman because too many clicks, parang nakakapagod. What if you're receiving so many files every day and you have to click just to get to the right folder? So balance. So that's one thing. You should know where to put them. So of course, if you're the first VA, usually when we enter the filing world of our clients, we're lucky if it's super organized. Okay, super lucky if it's organized. But if it's not organized, then we have to sort it out. That's our job. We have to declutter it. We have to organize it, So, hi Mimi, good afternoon. So, we're talking about filing. So, it takes time. You just really have to block out time every day or maybe once a week to really sort out the files. And key to that is being familiar with the business and the things. If you're just beginning the work, then sometimes parang you don't know how things relate to each other. But give yourself a week. If you get familiarized, get familiar with the files that your client is dealing with, then you'll be able to map out where this file goes, and yeah, things like that. So it's important to get your client's approval that you can reorder the things in his records. Sometimes you might need to present like a list. These are the folders that you need. These are the subfolders for each. Are you happy with that? Because sometimes if you don't let them know beforehand, they might get confused. Like, they're expecting to find such letter or template in one folder, and then the next day they can't find it in that folder anymore because you moved things around. So it's a good idea to give a heads up. You have to let your client know now, okay, I'm going to reorganize the filing system. This is my recommendation. Are you happy with this? So communicate it with them so that they won't think it's lost or you've ruined things. So communicate it before you make any changes. Just the big change, okay? Eventually, because at first they'll ask, okay, where is this file? All right? But if you make it so intuitive that they won't need your help, then that's ideal. Okay, so if they think, for example, board papers, then, for this company, then you create a folder for that company, and inside that company folder, you create another folder dealing with board meetings, and inside that board meetings folder, you create other folders for each month of the year. Okay, so that way it's intuitive, like that your client would know exactly where to find it, even if you're not there. Okay, so hierarchy, and communicate any major changes in the organization of the files. Okay, at first I was thinking, am I going to tackle this? They might think it's not important, but actually it's very important. It's another time-saving thing, okay, both for you and your client, because your client will be relying on you to retrieve files, and if you don't know where the files are, you can take hours looking for it if you don't organize the files properly. Okay, and it's we're lucky because we're virtual assistants, so the files that we work with are online. The only problem is if we also have to deal with files that are offline. For example, you're working with the client overseas. For example, the client is in the UK. The client works for an office, and some of the old invoices are, kept in a typical data, what do you call that? the drawer, the metal drawer where they keep the file, the filing cabinet. Then if those things are in the filing cabinet and they have not been scanned or converted electronically, then you cannot avoid but have delay in retrieving the information. You'll have to ask your client or maybe a colleague from that company to retrieve the file for you, which is okay. So just make sure na you build a good rapport with that person, so that if you need something urgent, she'd be happy to look it up for you and scan it almost immediately. Otherwise, most files are online, right? So my ultimate favorite is Office 365. If you find a client who has Office 365 in their system, or at least Google Drive, then that's a dream, because it's so easy to save files. For example, you open Outlook, the email platform. If you email Outlook, there's a file there. You can download it straight to OneDrive, into the specific folder that you want it to be stored. Okay, you don't have to download it in your computer then upload it somewhere. No, you can do it straight. Okay, so it's the same thing with Google Drive. So when you right click on the file, on the attachment, you have an option to save it on an online space, either iCloud, Google, or something. So there are several providers of file storage. Okay, and if you're dealing with a small business, then they would most likely, like solopreneurs, they would most likely just be using Google Drive, just like me. I just use Google Drive because Microsoft Office is quite expensive. All right, so medium-sized offices, they can afford Outlook 365. Okay, all right. So I've already talked about folders and subfolders. The other thing that you need to remember, not just in hierarchy, also in hierarchy, are the filing convention. Yan. So, for example, if you're looking at different versions of a document, it's always best to, put towards the end the date. For example, what format do they use? If they're based in the US, it's month, day, year. Okay, so for example, you can say version, this is the first version, then you put version 1. And then if it gets revised, you put version 2. Sometimes you can also put the initials of the person who revised it. And then what date. For example, 09.17.21. Or you can just put kahit walang period. It's just 09/17/21. Then you would know, the person who's also sharing that drive would know, oh, okay, this one was revised in September 17, 2021. And then every time that it gets revised, you just update the dates, okay? So that you know whether you're looking at an old version or the new version, okay? That's one thing. Using naming conventions, right? So that's very helpful, okay? The thing about filing is, if you're sharing it with someone, it's important to understand between you and the other people involved how files are named. Okay, because sometimes when we receive files, especially if they're scanned, the file name is like random numbers, random letters. So it's up to you to rename it so that it makes sense. Okay, so for example, it comes to you, the file name is 0985A36VVES, because that's what the scanner automatically generates. But actually, it's a contract for example, the repair of an equipment. So then you have to rename it. Put the name of the supplier, for example, carrier, repair contract, September 15 or September 17, 2021. Okay, so you save it. Then again, another thing that you have to remember is, do you have to file it? Okay, if it's something na, for example, it's just a form that you need to fill up, you don't have to save it in the folders unless it's something that needs to be filled up every year. But then again, if it's something that needs to be filled up every year, most likely whatever company needs that from you would send you a new form every year. So for me, I don't save forms that need to be filled up. I only save the forms that have been filled up, signed, and received. Okay, so you also have to determine whether this is something that can be just kept there in the mailbox or something that you really have to keep for your records. Okay. All right, so the different kinds of files that you will receive, you have documents. These can be Word documents, spreadsheets, PDF files, or emails themselves. Sometimes you have to save copies of emails also. Another one is you might also be receiving images. So for example, if there's a construction project, you need to see the construction site, then they will send you images of the construction area, or it could be drawings from engineers, design, so it can be images also. You have to be able to deal with them. You might also be receiving videos. For example, you're going to purchase an equipment or a machine, so you'd like to know what it looks like when it's working. All right, so you can receive a video file for that. All right, you can also receive an audio file. For example, it's a training, someone sent a question via Voxer, and it's just a question that's audio. That's something that you can save. For example, instructions or training ideas. What else? Notes for a meeting, or your client wants you to, it's a dictation, okay? So your client wants you to write a letter based on this, okay? So it can be an audio file. Things to consider. So there are 4 types: documents, images, videos, and audio, okay? All right, of course, since you're not just dealing with spreadsheets and Word documents, videos could be quite big in size, so you have to consider the storage capacity of the filing system. All right, if you're using Office 365, each user has up to 1 terabyte of storage, okay, which is wonderful. All right, iCloud, it gets more expensive the more storage you require. Google Drive, I think it also depends. I haven't really upgraded anything for Google Drive. Okay, so one thing I'd like to leave with you, one tip. See, Ira Marie is watching. Hi, Ira Marie. Guys, if you have questions about filing, please let me know. Okay, if this is something that you're already dealing with, let me know. If you have questions about filing, just post them in the comments. So my top tip is sometimes, because you have to balance it when you're doing, if you're triaging emails, remember I said you have to decide whether it's something that you have to reply to. Is there something that you have to consult with your client, or is it something that you just archive? So if it comes with a file, the beauty of having an organized filing system is that when you read the email and you know where it should go, then you can save it within seconds. All right, so my advice is file as soon as possible, okay? Because it's the number of emails that you or your client will be receiving can get really big, and then if you just leave it out for a week, before you know it, you have so many files to deal with. Like, buti sana kung if they all go to one folder. Hindi eh. Each file would go to a different sub folder. So if you can deal with it as quickly as you can, then do that. All right. If you can't, then dedicate a day in the week. Ako, in my calendar, it's Wednesday for filing. All right. I don't always follow it because most of the time I file as soon as I receive a document. Okay, because it's easier that way for me. I would know where to find things. All right. Okay. So can I try something here? There's an option here that says bring them on camera. I'm going to bring. Who can I bring on camera? Can I bring Who has an option? It's not showing up for Deo, the option to bring them on camera. It's showing up for Mimi. Mimi, can I bring you on camera? Just want to experiment this. That's only if it's okay. How about you, Ira? Let me know. If not, it's fine. I'll wait for your comment. But while I'm waiting for your comment, I just wanted, maybe I'll just share with you what's going to be happening later in our Zoom catch up. I'll be showing, well, we'll be talking about time management, of course, but I'll be showing with you the new design of our Facebook cover page. Okay. All right. Okay. So Mimi wants to be in your video. Let's see. Approve. Adding. It says adding. Adding is a term of endearment in Ilocos. My mom is Ilocano, so she calls adding. Oh, no answer from the live video guest. Oh, that's too bad. Maybe I can try it like this. Bring Mimi on camera. Let's see how that works. If it doesn't work, then thank you. Oh, it works. Hi. Oh, this is fun.
At,
How are you?
Lara, pa, paano to? I-ano mo na.
Oh, I can see you now. I can hear you.
Mm.
Hello.
Hello. Oh,
Nice
I'm
glasses.
not
Purple.
prepared. I'm not prepared.
Ay, hello. Ayan. O, diba? Also, this is, we're learning new things every day. So, I've never done this before. Thank you for testing it with me, Mimi. How is your day? How was your week? Okay, you turned it off. That's fine with me. Thank you so much for trying that with me, Mimi. Okay, good sport. Yay. So as virtual assistants, we should always be open to surprises, open to new things. We should be always watching out for, advances in technology because, well, we work virtually. That should be, we should always be um, like I don't know if it's okay, Mimi. It's okay. Sorry. I thought you were okay with it because I received an invite from you. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, I have something to show you guys this evening. We have a lovely member who was kind enough. She paid that she caught my comment before that I didn't really like our Facebook cover page, and that it's just something that I slapped on there just for the sake of having one. And she volunteered to give it a try. She has no, I don't think she has any professional experience in it, but she has some exposure in it, and she wanted to get my feedback. And I really like the designs, not just me, because my husband and my son, who are, in their own ways, very good in art, liked her designs as well. So I'm very excited to show that. Hi, V! My twin sister is here. So I'm excited to show that to you guys later. My sister Tintin also proposed that to me when I was really struggling. Like, oh, I don't know how to make a Facebook page, but I could not use her design because it was not really aligned to our theme. But I think see the ones that I'll show you later on really utilize our logos, our branding colors. So I think we can have a contest, no? Let's see what your feed. Not really a contest, but just not a contest, sorry, but for you guys to rate which of her designs we should use in our Facebook page. So let's watch out for that. Okay. So V, our topic for today was filing. So yeah, so I was just sharing earlier. I'm a music student, just like you were, and I had no experience about filing before. So it was a shock to me when I started working in an office as I was called an institute assistant. Filing was a shock to me. So if you're a student and you know how to file, that's a good advantage for you. All right. So again, um, Remember hierarchy when filing. Make it intuitive, and then also think about the naming convention so that you and everyone else who share um, the file, the filing system, would know where to find things and what the naming system means. Okay. And then think about storage limitations, as well as consider doing it as soon as possible, or set aside a time each week so that you can catch up with the filings. Otherwise, it will get overwhelming. And when your executive needs that file and it's still in the inbox, it's not in the file, or it's not in the storage where it should be, then that can cause some stress. All right, especially if you're on holiday. Okay, doke. So that's it for now. It's filing management. Everyone needs to know that. I'll see you guys later at 8 o'clock. Magluto na, kumain na ng maaga. And I'll see you later at Zoom. Okay, dokes. Bye.